And we're back. All right, cool. So I think before the break, I think that was the last of our downtimes.
I think
I
so,
think
yeah.
just for um just so that I have context. When are we picking up? Are we picking up a couple of days later? Are we picking up that evening? What's the plan? Right? Because Drop's
Uh,
gonna make sure that after this whole well, actually, what does Maya want to do after this whole shenanigan? Does she want to just like go home and sleep, or is this like a nope, I'm fine. I need to do something, to occupy my mind because I don't want to think about vomiting up ghosts.
I think it's both, right? Like we're about to get out of the carriage and she's like, right, back on the case kind of thing. Like we don't have time to mess around. And then she like almost like she faints. It's like, okay, you need sleep.
I would like to propose that the next scene is shot almost exactly like me talking to Echo. Like where Trav is like sitting in someone who looks like they're wounded or sick in a bed. Except just swap Echo for Maya. Uh, just making sure that you wake up and you're okay. Um,
Excellent. But yeah, I think it's like soon as she's well enough to stand, then yeah, it's like back on the case. Not gonna think about this, not gonna process this. Like this is everything's fine. Don't worry about me.
are there any conclusions about the Six Towers fire that came out like while Maya was unconscious? Because like Draw would check in with Home Office and like get clues and talk to the rest of the people on.
Um, it's a great question. Huh. They did get something.
Well,
Yes.
do remember the 21st night of September. Sorry. Do remember that we do have one of the things that happened here, and I thought this was pretty cool, is that they pulled in people from every district, right?
Right.
And do remember that like Drav has been working on creating like cross coordination and things like that. So at the same time, like if we had stand ups in the morning, uh, Drav would definitely look at everyone and just be like, okay, so good job. We're seeing some good cross faction coordination. Everybody was like on the dockets. That's good. On the other hand, crap job. There is 9 different factions that met there, and there was a giant fucking bloodbath because nobody could fucking figure out, like who's coming where. So let's figure out not who dropped the ball, but what we can do to like avoid this ever happening again, right? Like, I do not want to have the biggest fire in history come up on our watch. Like, what did we miss? What could we have done? How could we have communicated faster, right? Like, whose
Nice.
fault was it? Was it you, Brightstone? Like,
Nice.
uh,
Yeah, they do come out with hmm. um uh they you know what? I think like uh the Six Towers liaison calls you in and says, yeah, one of the salamanders asked for you. He asked for he read your name in the paper and he asked you to come to the Strangford Tower.
I think that's what I'm telling Maya. Like, get dressed. We've got a meeting with some salamanders. I think both of us are gonna show up on the scene there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Does Maya dress or act any differently now?
Hmm.
Oh, that's a really good question. I feel like
Because remember, you were
'cause
talking about how like you always wear your Deadlands stuff to like protect yourself, and you're worried that if you take it off, you're gonna get possessed again. But now that that's not a fear, does your behavior change?
yeah. I feel like oh yeah, that's for sure that sort of scene of her getting ready where she instinctively grabs for like the wards and then her hand like pauses over them and she considers putting it on just out of force of habit, but then is like, no, I'm not going to. And does like pull on her ghost monocle or like a couple of other wards, but we see like the sort of heaping pile of them that she usually drapes herself in her lift behind. Yeah.
Nice. Interesting. Cool. Yeah. So there are a bunch of salamanders walking all around and bluecoats, and you get waved past lines, blue lines for the bluecoats, and then eventually red lines for the salamanders. And where's Trash go?
I was just fixing the light. We're good.
Yep. And yeah, they an old salamander named Loria walks you in, and I think that the salamanders definitely do that thing I love with firefighters, where they're in this smoking ruin smoking, right? They all smoke, which I think is just the wildest thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're like, oh yeah, Loria wanted to show you something. And Loria is this old gray-haired salamander. She's got short, spiky gray hair, and she's definitely someone who is capable of throwing you over their shoulder and dragging you out of a building because you had smoke inhalation, and just like small, stocky, door kicker. And yeah, she's got like her axe over her back. She's like, oh yeah, come on, I'll show you. So you're always looking for like where the fire started. So we know it started up here on the 7th floor. And I'm kicking things around, trying to figure out where it started. And then I found this. And she like clears away some wood, and there's like a handprint on the ground, as if like a really hot hand went to the ground and then like melted into the stone. And then you can see the radius that went out from it. Yeah, looks like a fire hand.
I'm sorry, is that a thing that I should recognize?
Nope.
Because my first instinct as Strash was to go, oh, fuck, we're gonna have to call the spirit wardens.
Yeah, she says fire hand as if that's a thing, but that's just her like gallows salamander sense of humor. Like, there's no fucking thing to salad. Like, what is this? It's like,
you can almost watch Drav deflate.
Ooh. Oh no. I was wondering, like, there wouldn't be any fingerprints left behind by a fire hand, would there be?
Yeah, there are.
Ooh.
Like it's burned into the stone.
Oh, red.
Is it a human hand?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay. I mean, like, Strash just, in my head, I visualized, I swear it looked like a Thundercat handprint with, like, claws and shit, but I was imagining it was a demon, like, because humans can't do that, so, is clearly, apparently, yeah, maybe, cool, take it away, investigator.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about how Maya would sweep the scene now that she's not ghost possessed anymore.
Still have a tune.
Yeah, you have a tune. You're actually better equipped to deal with this shit than you ever were before.
Oh, red. Yeah, I will totally attune. I'll put my hand over. This is very bad police practice. Put my hand into like the hand print, right? And it's Is it bigger than mine? I guess I have quite a big hand, I guess.
Yeah, you do. But I think it fits. I think your hand is a little bit bigger. And you get the feeling that this hand was a little shriveled. Like, it was very bony.
Ooh, rad.
Describe to me the effect you're going for as you roll your Desperate Standard attune.
Yeah, I feel like this is much the same we saw in that parlor.
Oh, you're trying to like get the. Go on.
Yeah, like instead of going to the old Mind Palace, like ghost rewind time to reenact like that, the feeling of exploding and the feeling sort of what happened, what was going on at the time, like that kind of thing.
Cool. Desperate Standard.
Red. I will push myself to get another attune.
I wish I could assist you. This is so out of my wheelhouse. I can't even imagine how.
One bonus. I got a 4.
So you do it, but there's consequences.
I did also just get another pip and a tune because I was 1 experience point off of conviction.
Oh, nice.
So now I have 2, but it.
Cool. Yeah, consequences. That's a problem. On a desperate roll too, right?
Yes, yeah.
There's severe consequences.
Severe consequences.
So now we get to find out why this roll is desperate, among other things.
You see an old man holding a metal case with a mummified hand in it.
Oh, interesting.
And you can feel the heat. There's like heat. Like the case is insulated, so he's got it, and it's pretty big. And he like opens something up, and it's like an oven. And you turn around and you see Dejera, who you saw on the boat. She's there. Her bodyguard is there, who you didn't see on the boat. But maybe you saw him from a distance, but he wasn't that close up because she was on her own boat. But you see this like burly bodyguard with a gray handlebar mustache standing next to her with a pistol in hand. And they're meeting with Lord Skurlock, who is straight up Gary Oldman as Dracula, with like the glasses down his nose and the dark blue top hat and the nice suit. I think the only difference is that he's wearing a sword on his hip, and when this man opens up the hand oven thing, Skurlock like does this gesture, like a pulling gesture, and the hand falls to the ground and then hisses, and fire goes everywhere. You see Dejera's bodyguard push her to the side, like knock her over behind a pillar that got, and just this fire just goes everywhere. And the man who had the thing, it gets like pretty badly singed, but he gets the case over the hand and closes it again. And he's on fire, and he runs the hell out of there. And Skurlock goes out a window off a balcony. You're at least 7 stories up, and that's what he does because why not? And I think you take some of the fire that came from this hand was somewhat demonic in nature, And so when it hits and goes everywhere, even though it's only a memory, it's still hot and it burns you. And that's what the damage, that's what the consequences are, is that you put yourself in the middle of a demonic conflagration. And so it's a level 3 spirit burn.
Ooh, I can totally resist that, right?
Yes.
Well, the question is how much. You can always resist at a minimum of 1 level, but yeah, you definitely should.
Yeah. Remind me again, like, so I can spend armor to reduce it, right? Like,
if it's physical harm.
right.
This may be spiritual if you can. I feel like this is a fine time to talk to Judd and be like, look, we've established that I've got Silverosi spirit wards, except you left them at home.
Right.
Yes, I do have a spirit bane charm as an item on me.
But that only wards against ghosts.
Oh no!
Right.
Yeah.
What a fool I was.
Well, I mean, you're touching a burned handprint in stone. It's a little out. Who even knows if those Silverosi charms could have saved you?
That's a good point. Yeah. So I can reduce it by 1.
Yeah.
Anyway, and then anything else I can use to my advantage, or is that it?
I don't think so, unless you've got some real funky flashbacks to pull in.
Oh gosh. Nothing's coming to mind.
Okay.
So
yeah, you can test it down. So it's just a level 2 spirit burn.
Okay, do I need to roll for that?
Yes, to see how much stress it gives you.
Oh yes, yeah, true. I feel like this is just a sort of conviction roll, trying to withstand demonic spirit burns. I got a 5. So that's 1 stress, right?
1 stress.
And then spirit burns for level 2 harm. Excellent. Yeah. Which, yeah, totally makes sense, right? So I feel like my mind is probably like quite vulnerable after you get kind of like you have a sunburn that peels and your skin's feeling quite raw and sensitive on top of like having demonic spirit burns.
What does that look like in the real world?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, I think it's you put your hand in, and I think like I think you kind of like go fetal as like it, and then like fight it off. And you get the feeling that if you hadn't have had a tune, you might have gotten lost there and never come back.
Ooh. I feel like when I go fatal, I probably like am blithering about my grandmother, like sort of like in a weird way asking for her help. Whilst lying on the floor in Silverosi.
Right. And the name Kotar is in your head, and you don't know why.
Oh no! Oh, this is so bad. Oh, jeez. Okay. Trav has no idea what that is. Strash totally. It's like, oh no. Oh no. Kotar is a very, very bad ancient wizard.
Oh, excellent.
It's just bad news. And you're seeing it. Like, if that is the hand of Kotar, there's also like the eye and the heart. And it's all bad news. If the artifacts of Kotar are surfacing, this explains a lot about wars and nonsense.
Excellent.
Oh boy. Okay. He's a bit like Vecna. So, D&D reference.
Mm-hmm. My favorite.
All right. So, Uh, shit. So like Maya falls over into a fetal position. I mean, there are no flames for me to smother, so there isn't a whole lot. Like, I think I'm just concerned and trying to shake you awake and make sure you're all right. What the hell did you see? What happened?
Oh, for sure. I think it's like a few minutes for like Maya realizes that everything's fine, and like it takes a while for Drov's voice and shaking to like get through to her, and then I think like she comes to and sort of like wipes the snot or whatever from like her nose after blithering on the floor, and um looks to Drov. And I think she probably like tries to look as if nothing happened again and says like, what do you know about Kotar?
Yeah, that's not gonna fly. She tries to look like nothing. Yeah, that didn't. That's not what actually happened.
Oh yeah,
though.
she totally fails at doing so, but she tries to like pull herself to get through like nothing happened.
Are you okay, Inspector Tui?
I'll be fine. It's nothing. It's nothing major.
You get the impression from Drop's face that clearly he thinks this was something major. Kotar? I don't know what? Who? I don't think he's a player in any of the factions that we're looking at.
I think Maya starts to sort of regain her usual canter. She talks and like sort of rolls a shoulder and draws herself up to her full height and says like, no, it's not a name that I've come across either in my investigation, but I imagine perhaps our friends at Charterhall might have an idea. It seems to be linked to a mummified hand of sorts that wields the power of what seems to be many suns.
Considering there is no sun in Duskfall.
I like that that's a slip.
Yeah.
I think like, yeah, like, I think that's like, I don't think that's like a world slip or like Lauren slipping and forgetting that there's no sun in Duskfall. I think it's like Lauren, I think it's Maya having access to memories of a time when there was a sun.
Oh, that's so cool.
It could have been around a while. Or he was around a while. Should we get the spooks on this? I mean, that's generally protocol for when there's handprints in walls.
Yes. Like, it does seem to be within their area of expertise. Indeed, yes.
Okay. There's a cost to that, which is to say that so far we've largely been doing what we've been doing without a lot of oversight or supervision. Once the spooks are involved, we don't have jurisdiction completely in our hands anymore.
Indeed. Well, do you know of anyone else who can help us investigate?
No, not hands in walls, no. It's a little outside of my connection pool. The sorts of players that you'd go to for something like that are already the ones in the middle of this war. It's not like there's a fifth faction you can pull strings on. Okay, I'll make up the report. Before we do that, what are we planning to do with this scenario? Do we continue with our plan? Do we go and what the hell is her name? The lady on the golden bee.
Oh, Dejera?
Great. I need a nickname for her because Drav would not. Does she have a last name? Because he would never call her by her first name.
Not that you know of. Maha. Dejera Maha.
Is there a formal title that goes with that, or is it just Miss Maha?
Ms. Maha.
Okay. Then that's what Drav calls her. I think he says like, "Shall we go talk to Ms. Maha about this?" not knowing, of course, that you saw her, but like just he's still on the like Dimmer sisters and courting Skurlock vein of thought.
And yes, of course. I feel it would be most prudent to speak to her. She was there at the time, as well as a gentleman with a blue hat and spectacles.
Does that ring any bells?
Yeah, I mean, I think as she describes the people, I don't know, like, would Drav know who Lord Skurlock is?
Skurlock? No. But I'm wondering if Drav knows who the guy with the hand in the box is. Unless he's just a patsy that carried it.
I don't think Drav would know. I mean, we could roll.
Drav knows who Lord Skurlock is, but Drav knows who Lord Skurlock is by way of reputation. It's not like he's been around him. Like,
right.
There are limits to what Strash is willing to flash back to, and Drav met with Lord Skurlock is not one of them. Like,
right.
I may have heard of him, but he's the kind of thing that moves in the shadows. He doesn't, like, show up to clubs or, like, talk to people. He's kind of a beast, so yeah. Like, everybody knows who Lord Skurlock is in the underworld. Like, everybody has that story,
Right. But I don't know if you would know who he is based on that description, no.
No, but I didn't know if I picked up the description of the guy with the hand, if I could place him. I have been doing research on the factions involved. I highly doubt that I could have gotten my hands on a picture of Skurlock, but I may have gotten my hand on the picture of a number of other people.
Right. I mean, if you want to make a roll,
yeah.
I'm always willing to...
What's good? Give me a fortune roll. Do we just do like one die for our rank and maybe plus 1d because I did research, or do you want to like minus 1d because this guy's obscure or whatever?
I think -1 because this person is obscure. Yeah.
Cool. Let me roll 0 dice. I might know who he is. The worst that I'm going to have is poor information, which is what I have. I have a 3.
Yeah.
So maybe I don't, or maybe I have very bad information. I only have a guess.
Yeah, I think you just don't recognize that.
Cool.
You just don't.
Sometimes that's how it goes down. All right. So shall we go talk to Dejera?
Indeed.
All right. So do we get a sense from that interaction that someone tried assassinating Skurlock? Is that what I'm getting?
I think it was more that someone was trying to break up the...
Okay, and they used the biggest gun they had, which was like a hand nuke. Okay,
yes.
It's pretty effective. I mean, like, if I had a hand nuke, I'd use it,
Right.
All right, cool. All right, so I think the next job is talking to Dejera and trying to figure out if we can get the Dimmer sisters to switch sides. I feel like if we do that, we're about 2/3 of the way through the war, right? Because the Wraiths don't want to be part of the Unseen. We have somebody to leverage against them, which is Andrel, the kid. We can at least get a meet with them. The Lost are gone. If the Dimmer sisters switch sides, it's pretty much the Crows solo against pretty nasty hombres. So, I mean, the Crows are a powerful faction, but they're not that powerful. So,
all
right. I think we go talk to Dejera and we see if we can convince her not to deal with vampires. I don't know.
Sounds good.
Maya, you got to take point on this because, like, I it's not my society.
Oh, totally. I got it. I'm in such a good mental state to do all of this. It's going to go perfectly.
This is the job, though.
Yes.
Okay. Are you good?
I'm good.
All right.
Where can we find Dejera?
You find her at a warehouse. There's a huge
She's
freight...
on land.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a huge freighter at the docks, and she's watching a pair of industrial cranes unload things off of the docks, and like checking paperwork and talking to stevedores and all that stuff.
I love that word, stevedore.
Yeah, and I think your badges get you through to her. Um, and yeah, I think her hair is really short because it got singed, and so she had to cut it really short to keep it so that it wasn't obvious that she got burned. Um, and yeah, I think like one of her eyebrows is gone, so she took both of them off and then like had them penciled in, that type of deal. She looks a little different,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, she's busy. She's like checking papers and signing things and making sure that her intermediaries count certain items. And she sees you and says, "I'm sorry, this is going to have to be a working meeting on our feet. I've got a lot of work to do today."
Oh, of course, I wouldn't want to deter you from important matters. I appreciate taking the time to meet with us.
Of course, Inspector. What can I do for you?
Well, I'll cut to the chase. We're looking into the fire that happened at the tower, and I don't mean to be shady, but I think sort of gestures to like her appearance. I understand you were there at the time. It's lucky that you escaped.
I think Drav has like just pops in with one line. It's a very simple line, and what he says is, "You may want to make this a non-working meeting."
And I think like her bodyguard is there. And I think his big difference is that his head is shaved and his mustache is shaved. And he's looking at the two of you like he's thinking about how he would kill you if he had to. And she says, "There's a doc office over here. Karth, can you clear it out, please?" He says, "Yes, Miss Maha." And he goes and kicks out the dock administrative people, and you all file in to this little dockside office where stevedores get their work. How would you finger me at that place? Do you have a witness?
Oh gosh.
I think I'm just gonna I'm gonna like I try to curtail this conversation. I just look at her and I say, "We're not here about the fire."
And I think Karth says, "Then why are we here?"
I think Maya leans against the door and looks at Dejera and says, It's about the broader machinations that perhaps led to the fire, but not the fire itself. We're here to talk about networks and relationships and connections people have to each other. Wouldn't
I'm
want
listening.
Good. Oh gosh. What's the angle we take here with her?
Be straight up. There's no play here, right? Like, she knows the truth. You can couch it in fancy words if you want, but basically what we're trying to pitch her is, look, our mandate is not about... It's about stopping this war, right? Like, that is the mandate. And, like, just straight up be like, hey, look, we know you're courting Skurlock. That's a terrible idea. Here's our plan. Are you willing to switch to doing this? Are you willing to like fund the Dimmer Sisters, because that'll give you your like mystical backing and, you know, Oh shit, I forgot. The unseen have to circle. Damn it.
Oh no, does this change things?
No, we still pursue the plan, right? Like if you outnumber him 2-1 and you've got your mystical component handled, then like we are approaching the point at which we can like outnumber them, i.e., sue for peace.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think like Maya looks at her very straightforwardly and says, like, there's a high chance that what's happening will fall apart. The Dimmer sisters don't really want to be in this position. They don't really want to pursue this war that's going on between people. They don't necessarily want to align with Skurlock. I'm sure if you put your resources behind them, they'd be on your side. And with them gone, the Lost are gone. It just leaves the Crows in the Circle of Flame, and it's not really much of an alliance, is it?
It's not. Are you telling me that the Dimmer sisters are ready to come over?
Yes. Would you be ready to receive them?
Yes. Yes, we would.
That does mean letting them handle the mystical sides of your problems.
Absolutely. I've been wasting a lot of manpower trying to court Skurlock. Be nice to be able to throw that out.
You should totally make an observe roll here, Mike.
That's a good call. I will love to make an observe roll here.
Cool.
I will spend my special armor to push myself in the course of duty. What's my position?
I will give you a free assist because we've already talked about this plan.
What is it you're trying to? I guess.
I guess it's like to take lies. I guess almost like sort of see if there's anything shady in the way that she's.
Yeah. I think it's controlled. I think standard. I think it would be low or 0, but I think you've really kind of blindsided her with like handing her the Dimmer sisters for real. And the fact that you can really promise her that is giving you a much stronger effect.
There's a 6.
Cool. This is personal. Like there's something like she's pleased as like she's a cat playing with a dying mouse. Like she's not. There's just some other aspect of this that you're not catching.
Ooh.
And it links to Dejera specifically.
Interesting.
And what's more is like watching her, you think she started this. She started this. She kicked this off.
Ooh.
And she did it for personal reasons. Thank you. This will cause things to go smoother. I'm sorry about the fire. I'm sorry about how things went. That wasn't what I wanted, but it's hard to keep control.
It's quite all right. We're not here to investigate a fire. It's not part of the mandate. We're just here to see that this ends.
I think it'll be soon.
Good.
I think this meeting's done unless you have something else.
I'm good.
I think I'm good.
I think we're like on our way out, and I think Drav just pauses at the door, and then he turns around and just looks at her. And all he says is, You should be careful. People are at their most dangerous when they've got nothing to lose. And then he just walks out.
Cool.
Red.
Nice.
Josh has some good ending lines for these scenes this episode.
I feel like we're the baddies.
Yes.
I keep checking in with Maya, like, are we doing the right thing? Like, do we want to keep pursuing this avenue?
Oh, I know. And the fact, like, if we share a conversation or looks, like, after we leave, I think, like, Maya for sure looks rattled. And it's not just the spirit burn. I think you can kind of, like, tell that before, when we've been on cases, we've at least had some steady footing on, like, where we're going to pivot to and, like, what our immediate next step is. And I think you kind of can tell that Maya's not sure. There's some doubt in where we're going and what we're doing.
So let's have that conversation.
Yeah.
Imagine that we don't have the mandate. Imagine that we can do whatever we want. What would you want to do?
Go riding. I'm not sure.
What would you want to do for work?
That is a good question, Dravaran.
Do you tell me about your observation, like what you scanned off of her, like the fact that she's probably the one that instigated this whole thing?
Oh yeah, I think yes, that is a thing that I would impart. Yeah, for sure.
So I think Drav pulls out the mandate, and he looks at it. He looks at the seal that has like that emperor mask on it, whatever. And he fingers it for a minute, and he says, "We talked earlier about how our job here was unclear, how we didn't understand who it was that we need to arrest." Drav says, "I think we help her end the war, and then I think we put her behind bars."
I think you see Maya consider that. And then she nods slowly. And she says, that feels like closure. I'm not sure if it's closure on a personal level, a professional one, or something greater than that. But I think what has been troubling me a lot about this case is the fact that we've been asked more or less to maintain the status quo. And you know how I feel about the status quo here.
You know, part of the reason why we get along is because I have a tendency to kick over chamber pots. And when everyone glares at me, they don't realize that the smell is not coming from my boot. I think that I don't like helping somebody that's causing all of this death. Like actually, Drop says, like, you know, I actually agree with the Lost. Like, I don't think that what they were doing is wrong. I don't think that they were like, eradicating them like that is part and parcel of the costs of the grind, right? Like, this is what the street grind is about. This is like anybody that goes into a gang. This is how things end up, and this is why they end up. So like, the costs are known, but killing this many people, doing this much collateral damage, starting all of this, there's a story behind it, and if we can unearth that story, we can figure out who it is that we need to actually put in front of a magistrate. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't feel right to have somebody who is just rich and powerful be able to enact this much death and this much violence, you know, at the behest of whatever reason they have. I don't actually even care at this point. Like, I'm sure it is a fantastic plan. It might be for really good reasons. It might be even reasons that I can understand, but what is it that you burn a city down for? Along with all the people in it that have nothing to do with, you know, whatever it is that you're after. So, yeah, I think we build the case. I think we close the deaths, we stop the violence, and I think that we pin this on the only person I can see that might be responsible.
I think like Maya's shoulders like relax, and I think for she's been keeping a tense jaw like very tightly held, like holding herself the past um stint of this investigation. And then I think she looks at you with like equally soft like brown eyes and says like,
I'm never gonna get used to your eyes not being violet. Go
I
on.
know. It's very strange. And she says, thank you. I am so very grateful to have you as a partner in this, both as a colleague and as a dear friend of mine. I could not do this job without your help, without your keen insight and your commitment to your values. This would be an easier job if you were a more corrupt person. But you're not. And I am very grateful for that, even though it will probably see both of us dead at the end of this bit.
I think that actually makes Drop laugh. It's not just Josh. I think Drop like laughs his ass off and he goes like, well, I was convinced the Emperor was going to kill us, and then that didn't happen. Then I was convinced the Angry Ghosts were going to kill us, then that didn't happen. I'm actually not that scared of Dejera.
Yes. You're correct. Of all the people we've faced against, she is the least of our concerns.
Her special power is money. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a very good special power, but...
Indeed. But all of that aside,
okay.
Yes, I'm grateful to have you.
Okay.
Let's get her behind bars.
All right. So we've talked to the Dimmer sisters, who don't 100% understand the unseen motivations. Let's have a little chat. We have a couple of avenues of approach here. We can go back and talk. Okay, so in order to find out more about Dejera, we have two avenues of attack. We can either talk to her allies and find out if they understand something about her that we don't, or we can talk to her enemies. I like this plan better because it is awful.
Yes.
And see if they. So like, there are only two factions on the other side that we have not. Well, actually, there are technically four factions. The unseen are completely. Until the Dimmer sisters show up and tell us, yes, we have a solution. We can figure out, who the unseen are. I can't even name them, so like, I definitely can't pull one over and have a chat. Which means that the other faction that they have is the Circle of Flame, and no. I mean, like, I know about them, but they're outside of my like money bracket. They're like all rich, powerful merchants and demons and book called collectors and stuff. Like, I don't. Drav would have. He probably would have smuggled something for him, but like, he definitely worked with the intermediaries. This is not the kind of group that he would have like a talk with. So the only two factions that we have remaining are the Wraiths, who we have leverage on because like we have Undrell, and the Crows, actually, who are a standard street level gang. Now they're scarier because they're the bosses of the district, so they actually run stuff for the Lampalax and the Red Sashes and stuff. Like, they're like over them. That those folks pay like homage / tithes to the Crows, but that also gives us an in, which means that we could go and talk to them technically. From a criminal perspective, you definitely wouldn't like their leader, but from a person to person perspective, you might. She's actually the person. Oh, interesting. And she's the person that she's said to have killed Rorik, actually. So we may. I think her name is Lissa. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep,
John?
that's right.
I'm pulling stuff out of memory here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she's an ex-noble. So yeah, so we could potentially try and have a meet with Lissa and figure out what she knows. Of the people on the other side, the Circle of the Flame have the most mystical muscle, but we'd have to figure out how to talk to them. I don't have any plans or easy access. The Wraiths we have leverage on, and we could probably get an in to at least talk to the Crows, but we have no leverage on them. So like, it would literally just be like so how you like in your unseen masters? Like I don't know. We could probably get something out of her in conversation. We'd have to play hard on emotions and leverage and pull, and see sort of like where they stand.
Mm.
We could not flip the Crows, but we could get information from them.
Yeah. Oh gosh. So Lauren thinks it's more sensible to talk to the Wraiths because we have a leverage over them.
We can do both.
We can?
Yeah, why not? We can go to the Wraiths next. We have Andral. We can set up a meet.
Perfect. Because I was going to say, like, Reckless Maya is like, let's do the West Stagers thing. But no, I think, going to the Wraiths and the Crows makes sense.
I don't 100% know that talking to the Crows is going to be dangerous. The worst that's going to happen, I suspect, is they're just going to tell us to go, like, F ourselves and kick us out the door. The Crows are not dumb enough to murder an inspector in a blue coat that are known to be walking into their tower, but they certainly wouldn't help us necessarily. So we need something to push them, right? Like to it doesn't have to be. I mean, we can shake him down. We could try and arrest Lissa. I mean, we've done that before.
We have.
Super reckless. I got nothing there. But I mean, we could do a number of things. But okay, so let's go talk to the Wraiths next.
Yeah, sounds good.
So Judd, remember that we're holding Andrel on some not so serious charges at the moment? Yeah. It was something like really dumb, like trespassing in the Mustang or something.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna go have a chat with the kid.
Okay.
And it basically boils down to like, hey buddy, I want to talk to your boss. So can you tell me how to set up a meet? There's a good chance that you're gonna get kicked out of prison with like, or out of jail because he's not in prison. With some minor slaps on the wrist if things go pretty well for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a building in Silkshore.
Okay. Is there anything I need to do other than go knock on the front door? I'd prefer to do this on the sly. Can I like leave a note with someone? Set up a meet? Is there a back entrance I can go knock on?
Yeah, he like gives you the bar where you go when a job has gone wrong. Okay. He like gives you that pub.
Cool.
Yeah. It's called the Old Rasp.
Sweet.
And he said if you put word in there that you want to have a meet with Slate, that should be the place to do it.
We do that.
Cool. Do you want to have that talk, or do you want to go after the Crows? What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's have that meet. I mean, like, we're pursuing that thread, yeah. Right? Like, we can just be like, it can just be like that, if you've ever seen Snatch, it could just be like, walking into bar, slapping a piece of paper down on the table, pulling up a chair, we're having the meet.
Yes, totally.
/ done.
Yep. Yeah. Slate is... He is totally like an older debonair man with like a well-trimmed mustache, and his hair is like just growing gray on the sides a little bit. He is totally like the older, sophisticated, daring heister that someone makes when they're playing Blades in the Dark before they realize what a terrible dark grind it is. They're like, I want to play George Clooney. And it's like, this is going to go so well for you. But yeah, that's Slate. And yeah, he comes and sits down and says, I got word you want to talk to me.
Yeah. I think at this point you probably know that we've got Endrel.
We heard he was taken. I told him, well, whatever. I told him what I told him. He didn't listen to my advice.
Can I give you a bit of advice?
Sure.
All right. I think what I say is like, look, I know that you folks are involved in this war that's happening. Do you know who I am?
Yes, I know who you are.
The long and short of it is, Andrell was pretty animate about the fact that you folks are not exactly in this for something personal. This is not a personal vendetta for you. You're doing this because of the alliances that you've made and the fear that people that are much bigger than you are going to squish you if you don't. I guess I don't use the word obey. That you don't follow orders. How close to the mark am I?
I'm sorry. Could you say that again, Josh? I lost it.
Yeah. I think all I say is like, I tell him like I'm laying out basically what Endrel told us. I get the sense that you're working in this war, i.e., for the unseen, because you're worried that if you don't follow orders, you're going to get squashed by somebody with a lot of money. And all I said was like, how close to the mark am I?
I'm listening. You're close enough that I'm listening.
All right, cool. Our job is oddly enough not to crack down on anyone. The usual Bluecoat response is make the war too expensive for anybody to fight. Keep throwing people behind bars, keep wrecking their like methods of generating money, but that's not going to work this time. So the mandate came down to me and Inspector Tui here, and your faction is starting to fall apart. We already know that the Lost got wiped out, and I'm telling you for reals. I'm actually for reals.
For reals.
Yes, clearly drop uses internet speak. I'm telling you honestly that you're probably going to be losing the backing of your mystical powerhouses. So it's time to either cut and run, lay low for a while, get the hell, out of the targeting zone or whatever, or it's time to switch sides. And I'm looking to see if I should be asking the other side about what their budget is for this kind of thing.
And I think like as you're talking, so I just made a roll to see how their job went, and it did not go well. Like someone hands him a note, and he like crumbles it up in his fist and throws it on the ground.
Bad news.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting out from under this war. It's not good for business. You are correct. We are under people who have resources that, from our point of view, seems infinite.
There's a difference.
I don't know how to get out from under it.
Find another group that has resources that seem infinite and change sides.
Unless there's a person you cannot. Eyebrow raise. Which I'm happy to question him on if he has other information he is not wanting to tell us about other things that are going on with.
Go ahead and push him if you need to.
I'm nervous about getting a reputation around Duskball as a traitor. It's not something that goes well in our line of work.
Oh.
And I know you can appreciate that, which is why I'm taking the time to explain it to you.
Of course, but if everyone in your alliance dissolves, swaps sides.
Let's have a different talk. You're not wrong. Say you don't change sides. How many coffers do you have in order to hide?
We have places to hide. I'm just not sure that our employers don't already know about them.
So you need a place that's more deeply hidden than even they have the resources to find. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes.
Okay. I think there's just like a moment where Drav like looks at Maya and says, I think we've been to a few places like that, Inspector Tui. What do you think?
What exactly are you offering?
If you don't want to turn on your allies, which I understand and I respect, there is a time when maybe just laying low is probably the better option. There are places that the Empire has secured that even the Spirit Wardens didn't know about. There are places outside of the city that are relatively safe if you have the right kind of alliance. If you want to move outside of the grasp of someone in Duskfall, it can be arranged. The fewer pieces there are, the sooner this war is going to be over. And the fewer pieces there are, the fewer pieces there are to be taken off the board in a violent and perhaps inflammable fashion.
All right. Whatever the space is that you're proposing, or train car or whatever, it would need to be me, it would need to be my people, it would need to be our people, all of their people. It would have to be sizable. There would need to be space, because anything we leave behind is going to get burned to the ground.
How many people is that? Give me a number.
They're only tier 2. How many fucking could there be, right?
Well, a gang at tier 2 has, I think, 10 members, if I'm not wrong.
Right.
We can take a look at that. We can see, like, what the average, like, member size is. Hang on, I got the PDF open somewhere.
But I'm also thinking about, like, their friends, and you know what I mean? Like, the people who...
multiply by 4 is what I was going to suggest, because you've got, like, mom, dad, a cousin, and a friend or something, you know?
Right.
Cohort is the word that I'm looking for. Alright, 1 second. So at tier 0, it's 1 to 2 people. At tier 2, it's scale 2, i.e. 12 people. So there's about 12 people in their group. Give or take. So we need to find room and board for 40 people, not within reach of people in the city necessarily. Okay. That's a task that we can attempt to assault with clucks and or assets. I'm just going to guess that the ghost library is not big enough for 40 people.
Holy shit.
Dear Emperor.
We've put the most notorious thieves in your ghost library. We're sure that will go fine. Sincerely.
Heart, heart, heart.
Rah, rah.
For reals.
there's ways. Okay, the Silver Nails have places outside of Duskfall that we could potentially secure. We could talk about boats.
Totally.
We
I can send them to my mom's.
I was gonna say, going to Severos is not bad. It's like, hey, do you want this war to be over? Cool. Pay for tickets to Severos and like 2 weeks vacation for like 40 people. It's like, month there, chill there, come back. But then the war's either over or we fucked up real bad.
Yeah, totally. The food's great.
It'll be
It's a
fine.
good idea.
Now, the thing is, we don't have a lot of money, but we could probably convince Dejera to pay for an entire gang to go away. Because she doesn't really need to pay for a war then. That's like some coins worth. I don't know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
Totally.
Be fine. I hear there's a really nice ghost warded hospital not too far from town. All right. Well, we've been places in previous cases. If we need to find people to lay low, there are places to find people to lay low. We have enough friends and allies that I will come up with a plan or something. Yes, it'll be
Totally.
fine.
It'll be fine.
All right, cool. Do we wanna see if we can get a meet with the crows? I have no idea what we can get from them, but it's probably worth talking to them.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. And I think this is where we're going to make an engagement roll because this feels kind of dangerous.
Yes, it is. All right, let's do that. So I'm gonna pull on some gang members and stuff and see see if we can get a meet. Awesome. Let's assemble that pool. Do you have that in front of you?
I do.
Hit us.
Or I will. Or I do will. Or I will do. Or something like that. Come on, bookmark. Why don't you work? There you are. Whew. Had a bookmark malfunction there. It was really frightening.
27-ish, I think.
Yep, I got it. 128. Is this operation particularly bold or daring? Yeah, you guys are walking in, right?
More or less. Like we do have an introduction, but I mean, we
Right,
have
+1.
no leverage, no backup.
Friends or enemies provide aid or insight.
I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna lean on, and I'll tell you his name. Give me just 1 second. I got this. I got this. I can do a thing, I think.
Friends or contacts, sorry.
Cortland, a gang leader. He can vouch for me and get me in the same that he did as for the Lamplax.
Yep, the Dunslow Pigs.
Yeah.
Yep. A gang literally so looked down upon that no one has recruited them for the war, which is super insulting. So that's plus 2D.
All right.
Okay. This is where they tell us to go fuck off.
They might. Oh, we're making the roll.
Oh, and when you get out from your talk with Slate, what you find out is some people tried to break Andrell out. There was a breakout attempt, and it was thwarted.
Oh dear.
That's amazing.
How cool would that have been if it would have been like Andrell? Sorry.
Andrell who? That would have been amazing. I think there's just probably a moment where we're like standing in front of Andrell's cell, and I say, he doesn't look like a neatly folded pile of Bluecoat clothes with a note in him, does he? No. I miss our little assassin. All right. Take a look here. Oh boy. Cool. So two die engagement roll. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yep.
Sounds like it.
Oh yeah.
Got a good feeling about this.
Oh no. Hey,
Oh.
risky. That sounds right. Like,
That's-
yeah, we're walking into risky position. Yeah, of course we are. That sounds good.
Cool. Crow's Foot. I'm almost never in Crow's Foot in my games. Weird thing.
Really?
Oh, this is eerily familiar to me.
Core Blades is like all in Crow's Foot. Like, that's the starting position that's in the book, so I've seen this a lot.
Awesome. The Crow's Nest, an ancient tower from before the Cataclysm that has been a ritual sanctum, an astronomer's laboratory, and a Bluecoat watchpost before its current role as the headquarters of the district's chief gang, the Crows. Very nice. Cool. So where I think, so number one, this is not nearly as high as Rowan House or any of the six towers. I think this is more of a squat tower, totally made of stone. It looks like an old-fashioned castle.
Hell yeah. Maya feels right at home.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Totally.
For many reasons.
Yeah. And I think like the top level is a glass dome, so that because it says it was an astronomer's laboratory. So I think there's like you can see the space where there used to be a huge like looking glass, and now it's gone, and now it is a place where a gang meets. And so it's this big circular tower room with this dome, so you can see like the reflections of the moon in it. And Lysa meets you in front of her whole gang. Like all of the crows are here. And they're all of these like I mean, they're just tough, hard folks with you know, looking at you hungrily. And you walk in as she's talking. You hear her say, "I'm sure you all read the papers. When will the Bluecoats save us from this war? Oh, poor Duskball." Yeah. Where was Duskball when we were growing up, huh? Like there's like some cheering. Listen, the law wants to talk to me. And there's like hissing and booing. Yeah. Yeah, Billy Bluecoat wants to say a few words to me. But I'm not going into any closed doors with them. And there's like applause and like screaming. She's like, "Yeah, you're damn right I'm not. Damn right I'm not. But I thought it'd be fun if we all talked to them. Would you like that? Talk to Billy Bluecoat, Irene Investigator. They're here. Come on out." And like there's just booing and hissing and cussing. A bottle gets thrown, and that person gets thrown out because that's over the line. But it gets thrown. Come on, come on.
I think if we're let in.
Yeah.
By the way, I just want you to know, Judd, I'm having flashbacks to like the Batman Arkham games. Like
nice.
when like, you know, the Penguin is like holding court and he's got that like whole like you know, the people in the outfits, you know, circling around. Yeah. It feels like we're gonna go talk to the Joker. All right. Cool. Maya, you want to lead or you want like?
Oh, good question. I mean, is this kind of like I know you, you know me, like we have a similar background kind of thing, or is this like a more no, we're like investigators and a blue code coming in to talk to you?
I think one of us has to draw fire, the other one has to do the surprising questioning. Which role do you want to play? because I'm happy to chat them up and throw like jibes back with them because that's fun and neat. But like I'm also happy to just sit quietly in the background and drop one-liner questions when we need to. But I think your question's higher than mine.
I think, yeah, I have 2 questions, I think.
Okay.
And I think your own late's better than mine.
All right. So what we're trying to find out here, our goal, is to get them to slip up and release some information about what are the causes of this war. Because we know, thanks to your awesome observe role, that it's coming from the other side, but it's personal. And I'm trying to figure out if they know the whys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're in a weird position, right? Because, like, the Jera is probably not going after the Unseen. Because unless she found some way to break through their curse, which is possible. She has a hell of a lot of money. She could have found an artifact that, like, breaks it or something. But somehow I doubt it's that complicated. So we need to fish, right? I think there's probably a moment, and as like, you know, we walk in and they're whistling, they're hooting, the bottle gets thrown, Drav dodges it. And I think there's probably so which role do you want me to take? Do you want me to be quiet or do you want me to be boisterous and set you up?
I think you're best place for the setup, yeah, for sure. And then I can pop in with some questions.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So Judd, by the way, that was an amazing setup.
Yes.
I think Drav's move is actually that as he's walking in, he's unbuttoning his blue coat, and by the time he like gets to the center of their little like arena that they've constructed with their bodies, how like everyone's around the room or whatever, I think he takes the coat off, right? So like he's got like his shirt on, and he starts rolling up one sleeve, right? And he says like, well, if you listen to Lissa, you're gonna... actually, he says, well, if you listen to the Inkrakes, you're gonna believe that the Bluecoats are in this town to save you. And I say, that's kind of a load of crap. That's not actually our job. I go, but if you listen to Lissa, you think that my name is Billy. And I actually pull the sleeve back over my tattoo, and I go like, nah, my name's Dravaran. I grew up on these damn streets, same as you. And we are not here to take anyone in or to force you to, like, turn tail. So, let's get some stories straight and stop spreading lies. And I look at Lissa and I'm like, what do you say?
Yes. So good.
Yeah, she says, standard Bluecoat crap. Standard Bluecoat crap, guys. You gonna fall for that? Divide and conquer.
I'm not trying to divide anyone.
Good constable, bad constable. I've been on the street. I know what it's like. I'm not hiding behind a badge. Give me a break. Don't show off your old dated once I ran a gang tattoos.
I think Drop says like, well, this is your circus and you're the ringmaster, so what would you have me do, Lissa?
What is it you're here to ask of us?
Word on the street is things aren't going super great. And I look at the room, like my face, like I'm like, word on the street is, and then like my face drops, and I just look at everyone, I'm like, things aren't going so great. And I look around at everyone, and I'm like,
nice.
It's right, like who here is telling the truth? You want to do the farce or do you want to talk, right? Like, and then when I look back at her, I just go right back into the jovial, right? And I just, I look her right in the eye, and I'm like, the reason we're here is because all of you have attracted the attention of, and I lift up the mandate. I'm like, the undying goddamn emperor. Now, I'm not here to play good cop, bad cop. I'm here to understand why the hell all of you are willing to burn to death for people that you don't even love.
Awesome.
How am I doing, Ringmaster?
So Judd's telling you that you're doing awesome.
But I have to roll some dice now.
Yeah. So there's going to be 2 clocks.
Okay.
one, you turn the crowd on Lisa, which I think is what you're trying to do, or you
Yeah.
either you turn.
You want to give me an audience? I will play to your audience. Wrong move, Lisa. Wrong move.
Right. Cool. So I think there's a force count clock. Lisa has the crowd tear you guys apart, where they all just attack you. And then there's 6 count clock. Turn it on her, whatever that means. I don't know if you're going to turn the crowd on her, or if you're going to learn something, or you're going to get something you want.
Cool. So I think I'm gonna relate to them, because I think that's what I'm doing. Does that sound fair?
I think that's what you just did. Yeah. I think you can make that roll.
All right. So this is clearly risky.
Yeah.
And plus 1d, because I pushed myself. Boop. 4. So I do it, but there's probably ticks on a clock.
Ooh.
So how many ticks do you get?
Okay, so I get 2 ticks because you said that it was a standard effect, right?
Yeah. And there's 1 on hers. Yeah.
Actually, untrue. So the way that you do ticks on enemy clocks is based on the threat level. Because it is a risky roll, which was determined by the engagement, she gets 2 ticks as well. However, this is where I say, no. I feel like I already demonstrated via RP my resistance of her gaining ticks.
Cool.
So I'm going to resist that with my sack.
Yeah. Totally.
Excellent.
This
Zero
is why
stress.
Nice.
This is why you don't tick clocks in ink. So you do you get rid of one of them or both of them?
That is up to you. If you feel like, so as Strash giving advice as a game designer, I would say 1, because Lisa still has a strong hold, right? Like she is the leader of them. They trust her. I probably only get 1 tick down. But if you feel like I make a particularly salient point or my dodge is very good, then you can always be like, no, you negate the bad effect, right? Like, but this is where I reveal that I have a power. I have a special armor when I'm doing something like this on the job. I believe that we just got ambushed by this crowd, and one of the things that I can avoid because I'm natural born police is getting ambushed. So I'm gonna mark my special armor and kill that clock all the way to 0.
Nice.
So I'm a ninja. All right, cool. So now that we've done the mechanic parts of this, do we want to have another verbal exchange? And also, Maya, do you have any ideas on how to jump in here?
Ooh, I guess it depends upon like how Lissa reacts. Like, how does Lissa respond to Drav's like drumming up the crowd?
Yeah, she looks pissed. Like she's getting angry. Like you remember. So Maya, the first thing you think of is something Drav said a few hours ago, which is be careful when someone has nothing left to lose. And like when you see her look at the crowd, like she thought she was going to be halfway to having them kill you by now. And like she looks around and she's good at reading the room, right? That's why she's in charge of these folks. That's why she rose up. And they're not, like her second in command is like in the crowd, like tussling with someone. You can also, you look around and you see burn marks. Like people who are burned in the Strangford fire, and they're fucking listening to you. And I think like the fractal moons that are in the weird sky, broken sky of Duskfall are reflecting your shadow. And when you look on the ground and see your own shadow, you can see the heat waves from where like your spirit is literally like on fire.
So cool.
Like, in the shadow, you know?
Rad. Oh my god.
I think like you look down and notice that, and like, but then you notice all these other things too. So there's way too much information to give for you. Do all that as you will.
Oh my god. Yeah, I feel like I feel like Maya matches her pissed expression with like her sort of regular violet-eyed stony one. And I think she cocks her head to the side and says, look, we can piss around back and forth about who has the spotlight, who's in control, who's a Billy Bluecoat, and whatever the fuck. But people are getting seriously hurt here. I'm sure your people have gotten seriously hurt here. This isn't about who wins and loses, although there will be winners and there will be losers. This is about understanding what the fuck is going on, how it started, and how I can get it to stop. So you can either answer our questions, we will leave, and you can go back to doing whatever you were doing. Or it can go the route of winners and losers. So what'll it be?
Nice.
I'm not quite sure what I was doing there.
No, I think you're right. Can I give you one of my secret hidden assist magics?
Of course.
I think what Drav says is, I think you were expecting us to come in here and talk about what's right, or I think that you were expecting us to walk in here and be like Bluecoats and threaten you, tell you, what are we gonna do if you don't listen to us. But I think that's all bullshit. We don't decide who wins and loses. Like, this game has nothing to do with us, and we are here only to make sure that the game is over. And I think Drav looks around and specifically takes a moment to catch the eye of several people that look burned, and he says, only you get to decide who loses and who wins in this war. And I said only you get to decide who loses, and he catches a few more eyes and lets that beat sink in, or who wins in this war. So I'm gonna spend one of my other, because I think I did one earlier, so this is my second free assist that I have from my power, because I am foresightful.
Rad. I might go ahead and roll question, if that makes sense, because we're trying to just figure out, get information from her, I guess.
Okay. I think we're at I think it's risky great. You're still risky. You're still in front of a bunch of murderers, but a bunch of murderers who are now listening to you.
Red. Excellent. I will. Trying to figure out how many dice I need. Sorry, what was the position effect? And it was risky.
Risky great.
Risky great.
Oh, then you don't need to push for effect. You can push for. I gave you one assist, but I mean, you can always push for an extra die. It depends when you're stressed out.
Yeah, I've got 5. So I
Wow.
probably can. Oh, I crit. Yay.
How many ticks is that?
It's so standard effect is 2 ticks, great effect is 3 ticks. This is extreme effect, so it would be 4 ticks.
Holy shit! You finished the clock.
Yay.
Finished a 6-part clock in 2 rolls.
Sometimes the dice are with you, and sometimes they're not.
Mm-hmm.
So I think what happens is a lieutenant stands up and yeah. His nickname is Bird. And he's got a neck tattoo of a couple of ravens meeting, whose beaks meet under his neck.
Not crows?
Crows, yeah.
Okay.
I meant crows.
Just checking.
not ravens. Yeah, he's got a couple of crows whose beaks meet under his neck, and uh, he stands up and he's like, "It's a bad day for the crows when the law comes in here and is making more sense than our leader does." And he was like, "We know why this war started. This war started because she killed Rorik."
Drop doesn't react, but I would like to know how those dots connect.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like people are screaming, and some people are screaming. Some people are like, a lot of other people are like, we need to listen to this guy. And Lisa turns and stabs him right in the neck. Like she doesn't like think about it. She just walks up and like the knife is out and she puts it right in the guy's neck. And she angles him so his blood doesn't get on her. She wipes the knife off, like wipes it off, like, shakes it and then wipes it off on him as he's bleeding there.
And falling over. Nice.
Yeah. And she says, "Does anybody else want to talk shit about my leadership?"
Zipper goes like quiet, like you could hear a pin drop kind of thing.
No, I don't think so. I think like someone throws a bottle at her. Like things are turning really ugly in here.
Okay, Maya, what's our move?
Oh, can I? Oh God, this. Okay, so we can try and control the crowd and de-escalate, or we could leave.
They're not after us. This is gonna come down to party lines. Mm-hmm. Reminds me of that scene from Guardians of the Galaxy where like the pirates divide in two. It's just gonna be a bloodbath. So my question, damn it. All right. Do we want to let this many people die? Because nope. I can't. I'm sorry.
No, I can't. Yeah.
Right.
Plus, yeah. What is our approach for not letting everyone die?
And this was how Drav and Maya took over the crows.
That would be so bad. I can't.
Oh my God, I love it.
What's the reputation of the crows?
Oh, this is how you start a splinter gang. New faction, the Ravens.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, no, we're not playing Blades in the Dark. We're not doing this. All right. But maybe though. Okay, so let's bring back on track. What is the reputation and or the motto of the crows?
What are their values? Their mission statement.
I think they're about running crows flat. I mean, I really think that's what.
Yeah, but what's their rep, right? Like the bill hooks are known for being like horrible, vicious, bloody savages, right? Like,
okay.
If I'm on the street and someone talks about the crows, like, are they professional? Are they like, what's their rep on the street? Like, what are they known for?
I think back in the day, all right, so I think we're in a changing era, right?
Yeah.
So in Rorik's day, I think they were known as tough but fair.
Yeah.
And I think they were known as like the law of Crowsfoot, but a tough law, but like a fair law. And I think after years of that, there was talk that like also because Rorik was such a peacemaker, there was a lot of talk that like he's the one who like there was always kind of that myth of like a king of the underworld or a queen of the underworld, and it's never happened. And there was a myth, there was like a thought that like Rorik could be the one. Like Rorik might be the one to do it. and then Lisa killed him. And now people are trying to figure out what the crows really are about. I think it's a really good question.
Cool.
I think no one knows now. And also they've lost control of parts of Crowsfoot. And the other thing is that the Lampblack Red Sashes War was a result of Rorik dying.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, because
that happened.
he was the both the Force
Yeah.
and the Peace Broker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that there's probably as this is like going up into chaos now, dice don't fail me. I think Drav is gonna just he's gonna step up on whatever chair / table / nearest like thing is.
Yeah.
And like I think there's like a moment where he looks at Maya and Maya's like doing the calculation like, is this our fight? And then like I look at this group and I'm just like, I can't let like 20 deaths happen right now. And I like there's probably one death or like there's probably a fucking Seeker Crow coming towards here already, right? Like she just fucking killed a dude, like bell rang, right?
Right.
I think there's probably like a moment where I like I take 2 steps onto like a desk and I just bellow at them with the same force and goddamn like yell that I gave to all of the people like outside of the theater, right? Like when the guns were blazing and everything, like when we were in the fights last time. And I I'm gonna bellow, like to just try and like scream over the din and basically give the like, hey, I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I remember the crows from my day, and I give them the speech, like, this is who you are. This is the name that you built up for yourself. Like, what the hell is this pack of hyenas here trying to, like, rip each other apart? Like, where is your discipline? Where is your fucking thieves' honor? Like, you just murdered a dude in front of a Bluecoat, and instead of, like, looking at us, you're looking at each other. Like, why isn't somebody fucking dragging this body outside right now so that the Deathseeker crows don't come down on everyone's head? Like, what is this fight about? Like, why are you, instead of taking control of Crowsfoot, fighting a war for somebody you don't even want to fight for? Like, I'm just trying to distract them from trying to murder each other. That's like my goal.
Yeah. Cool. This is my favorite position effect ever. It's Desperate Great. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I'm in.
Cool.
My favorite die pool is Assault, but my second favorite die pool is Relate. And I feel like I may be relating to this group. Does that sound fair?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. I figured. And I know I gave that before you did that, which I'm not supposed to do. Yes.
Can I throw you an assist? I have.
Dear God, yes, please. And please narrate something in.
Yeah, well, if it's okay, like I like to think that Maya jumps up first and with like the voice of her grandmother, like that ironclad, booming, cutting voice that she remembers of her grandmother from when she was young, and like does the initial like everyone like shut the fuck up kind of thing before to sort of create the platform for you. And she's scared by that.
The Nana voice is amazing.
She's scared by her Nana voice.
That's amazing.
All right, so I am going to push myself. So I'll mark 2 stress and add a die from that. And I'm going to take Lauren's die. I swear whoever it was in chat is jinxing us. That's a crit. The Nana voice gave me the last 6.
Yay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You've got their attention, Drav. What do you want them to do next?
I act like a gang boss. I get them to fucking like move the body and make sure to dispose of it correctly so that the crow is like wandering while it gets fucking eaten by eels or whatever. I get, like those 3 to clean up a goddamn like blood stain. Like I look at these 4 and I tell them to like double the guard and like make sure that the place is whatever. And then I look at Lissa and I'm just like, so now do you want to talk to us and not in a fucking circus?
Nice. she turns to her second, Belle, and says, clean up the mess. And then, come on. And she takes you into her rooms. And like what was her room was once like a medieval blacksmith shop, right? But now, because someone had to make all this brass crap that some medieval astronomer used, but now it's her room. And you can see Belle like screaming down lieutenants and like getting people to do shit. And she looks pretty shook. Lisa looks pretty shook by it all.
So is there any truth to what Belle said?
Yeah. Yeah, there's truth.
This is the second time I've heard the name of Rourke mentioned in the past as many weeks, right? Like, or actually, I don't know how long ago our last case was. So I'll I'll probably say in the last as many cases. I'm like, hey, asshole's dead, and his name just keeps popping right the hell up. What is it about this guy? Like, did he just have a golden knife nobody knew about? Like, what was up with him? Like, why is he that important? He's just a criminal.
I swear, killing him, it was like his name rang out even more when he was dead. I don't fucking know.
I've never had the feeling.
I've never had someone. I don't know. I've been a knife for the crows for a long time. I thought if I killed him and dumped him in a canal, that would be it. But it's like he kept coming back on me.
I think that hits Maya in a very tender place.
Ooh. Yeah. Yeah.
Use it, channel your pathos.
Is this where I try and relate to her to get her to open up?
I think I have done enough that I can just mark a stress and assist.
Yes, yeah.
Take it away, Maya.
Oh god, it's so hard playing vulnerable Maya. But I think that really hits her in a tender spot, and I think she swallows, and you can kind of see the spit go down as she readies herself to talk about her trauma, and she fixes her with her again the very brown eyes and says, it's you're not alone in being haunted by ghosts. I recently exorcised my grandmother's ghost from my brain, having been haunted by her name for as long as I can remember. And yet, despite her absence today, not some 10 minutes ago, I felt her come out of me again. It's as if she is within me, within my bones, and I can't escape it. I understand what it's like to be haunted by a shadow, even when they're gone. It's scary, even for strong women like you and I.
Awesome. Make a roll on that.
It feels like an amazing relate set up for everything forever.
What's my position?
Controlled great.
Excellent.
Go, Maya, go.
Oh yeah, I thank you for that assist. That's a 6.
we had a horrible situation that we just went through and got a lot of lucky on. So I am glad to leverage it to your advantage. That was awesome, by the way, that speech.
Yay.
What did you want? I'm not sure what you wanted. I should have brought that up before the roll, so I apologize.
Oh no, I think I think we just want to know like. Well, actually, we came in here going. It's super personal, but for oh crap, I'm blanking on names. For Dejera. But we didn't know why it was personal. We asked why it was personal before the fight broke out, and we received a Lissa killed Rorick. But we have yet to like sort of connect that dot between like why is it personal on the other side, and why did what's the connection there?
The war is my fault. All this is my fault. I killed Rorick not only because I wanted to run this gang, but because he'd always pull out money from somewhere. He had a secret stash. And when I found out he was seeing Dejera on the side, behind everyone's back.
Oh!
I didn't want the Crows to be a goddamn franchise for the Hive. They're a bunch of fucking monsters.
Monsters? I think Drav gets that hungry look on in his eyes, like here it is. This is where we connect shit to Dejera.
I think in the meantime, I feel like puts her hand on Lissa's wherever we're sitting, or puts a hand on her shoulder and says like, "It's not your fault."
Was it just business, you and Rorik?
I wanted his seat. I also didn't want to be a wing of the Hive.
Why not?
Just fuck them, that's why.
Look, Lissa, if what you're saying is true, this war only ends when you die. And I get the feeling that if you were willing to die fighting Rorik for the seat, you're willing to die fighting the Hive for the seat now.
Want to know what kind of person Dejera is?
I'd love to hear about it.
The bomb in Gaddock Station. The gang war bomb. She set that because the food coming in on that train was flammable. Almost all of it went up. And funny thing about the Hive, they had a bunch of food things coming in. And once that food went up, they sold it all to the Ministry of Preservation for cold hard coin. Double what they would have made on it on the docks. That is the kind of person she is.
Okay.
She's quite the complicated person.
Yeah. She would look much more complicated with a knife in her neck.
I get the feeling that that's not going to be the end of Dejera. What the hell do I call her? Miss what?
Maha?
Dejera Maha. But there might be a different kind of end.
That'd be good.
I agree. You're not alone.
Actually, you might be, says Rob.
Oh, yeah.
let's try this. This war is not going to end well. You've lost several members on your side, and more are fleeing as we speak. How far are you willing to fight for these people of yours?
I feel like in order for this to end, Cher is going to demand that I can hand it over.
Probably.
I'm not going out like that.
Okay. Can your bosses sue for peace?
I have no fucking idea.
Try. It's probably going to end with a lot fewer deaths. I'm willing to roll on that. Go ahead.
You got any inside thoughts on what kind of angle I should go in on with them with?
Yeah, maybe the fact that you don't have the backing of the rest of your people and the lost are dead.
Cool.
The Crows are fighting this war solo against multiple factions backed by powerful money. Even though your bosses have powerful money, they do not have the numbers anymore. This only ends one way. The only other out that I can think of is figuring out some deal for cash. If they have infinite cash, maybe they can pay them off. If Dejera is as motivated by money as you say, it might be worth at least creating a ceasefire long enough for negotiations to take place. We're not going to stop working.
Yeah. All right. That's something I can go with them with.
Good luck.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, this case just got messy.
Oh yeah.
That's what I like to hear. That's like my favorite sentence.
All right, Lauren, how do we build a case against Dejera Maha? We have one lead that we can investigate, and if she's willing to do something as cavalier and as despicable as this, then my question is, well, no, she clearly has done other things. But how do we get a wire on her?
Oh yeah. That is a good question.
What time is it? Maybe that's a question we ponder till next time.
Cool.
How do you folks feel?
Yeah, that makes sense.
I am looking for obsessing for 2 weeks over this
Okay.
game, like I always do. So.
Yeah, I got nothing. So, all right, but at least we have some leads. We understand that this is tied to Rorik's death. Dejera used to be involved with Rorik, so maybe it is personal for her, which, I don't know, you make calculations like that bomb. I have to wonder how much human is left in you. I guess it's interesting for me to find out that she's not just a monster, that she actually cared about Rorik enough to do this. Like, yeah, she's doing it in addition to her job, but interesting. This
Totally.
is definitely, wow. When we started this tonight, I was like, all right, our goal is to convert the Wraiths, and then, just let Jira run rampant over these guys, and it'll be fine. This case will be over in like a session. And now I'm like, what if the villain's the one that we're helping, and how do we fix that? How do you build a case against somebody who's got that much money and power? I mean, obviously we built it against Rowan, but that's gonna be a big clock. All right.
Oh yeah.
Cool. Let's do the do. That feels like it. That feels good. Lauren, do you want to do your XPs first?
Oh yeah, totally. So I marked my desperate one already. Did I honorably do my duty in service to the Imperium, or did I do what's right?
We spent a lot of time talking about what's right.
We did. We took some steps to try and enact that. And that's what we did.
We definitely did our duty to the Imperium, I feel. And the example that I'm going to give for you in particular is like, I feel like you definitely, put yourself at risk by investigating the Burning Hand and this whole... Speaking of which, that's still an unresolved thread. We're going to have to look into that. Gonna have to see if John wants to guest star again. So yeah.
What's that? What's an unresolved thread? I'm sorry.
Oh,
the Burning Hand and the Circle of Flame.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That would be cool. I would be happy to get Coil back here. Coil has money.
I'm gonna have to tell John that that's what we love him for. Can you please come back and bring your coin? Oh my god. He did solve a lot of our problems with money.
He did. It's like,
which at the end of downtime I get 2 stash. I'll mark that. Go on.
Yeah. Oh, it's like, we want to commission a ship. No problem. It's done. I was like, oh my god, that would have taken us like a whole mission.
Please come up out of your butt with how you commission a ship. What? I don't have that kind of money. You have a ship person on your sheet. I don't have one.
Yeah. So I feel like that might be one for Imperium, one for doing what's right in terms of we de-escalated that whole fight. We could have like left quite easily.
That's definitely a thing.
Expressed beliefs drives heritage background. It was
always.
It was the whole thing.
Always.
This had a lot of your heritage and background in it. This episode was full with it, literally more so than figuratively. Yes, it was very, very Maya heavy. Struggled with issues from visceral trauma. I overindulged for
That's
sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And by the way, that whole scene with the ghost getting dragged out of you, struggling with, Oh no, wait, I guess that's not related to a trauma, but I feel like you were reckless at least several times.
Yes, yep. I was for sure thinking about how to make this reckless. Yeah. Again, staying behind to be like, now we can de-escalate this gang. Be like, everyone, shut the fuck up. That's what normal people do.
And like putting your hand right to that handprint in a tuning.
Oh
was
yeah.
pretty reckless too. Like,
yeah.
Perfect. That's my experience, boys.
All right, cool. Mine are pretty straightforward, I think. You honorably did your duty in the service of the Imperium, or you did what's right. I'm going to make the same case as Maya. Drav's been
totally
struggling with what's right, and finally he's on a path. But in terms of doing my duty to the Imperium, we have kept steadily de-escalating this war. Now, mind you, we failed once. There was a giant tower fire, but come on, we can't predict Lord Skurlock's. Like, that's not a thing. So,
I've got like bad wartime side effect clock, and that was one of them got ticked off. So, yeah.
The world should definitely act outside of our actions, and if it doesn't, it doesn't feel real. And I think that was actually pretty cool. All right. You express your beliefs and drives, heritage, or background. The two things that I'm going to quote is, one, Alyssa was like, I'm going to outrogue you, and I was like, well, really now? Let's shit some tats. And then the other thing is, I think just the discussions that we're having constantly with Drow trying to figure out what is even our job? How do we do our job? How do we stay true to our job while staying true to like ourselves as people, which is a very difficult question in Doskwall.
Totally.
So yeah. And then, of course, struggled with issues from your vice or traumas. Well, my traumas are as follows: obsessed, reckless, and soft. And I feel like I was reckless a couple of times, and I think that putting my life on the line for a bunch of crows whom I don't even like definitely like trying to reduce bloodshed and protect people and like help out the poor kid and everything definitely reflects on my soft.
Yeah.
It
I
certainly
feel
would
like
have been. Go ahead.
oh, I feel like obsessed even factored in with the whole decision to like go. We could just end this now and like side with the villain, or we could push through and really follow this to a place where it aligns with your values.
All right, cool. Sweet. So I get my XPs. I am going to pick up a dot of question, and then, ooh, where do I want to go next? Where do I want to go next? I mean, that was 2. I'm just gonna dump 4 into personal right now, and I'll figure it out later. All right, cool. Shall we do the gang?
Oh yeah.
The mandate.
All right, I
Let's
got
do
it
it.
up. Enforce the law or advance the progress of the mandate.
I feel like we definitely progressed.
Yep.
Did we enforce the law? I'm gonna make I'm gonna make the argument for 2 progressions. One being talking to Zera and convincing her to take on the Dimmer sisters, and one is convincing the Wraiths
Yeah.
to at least be
Yep.
ready to lay low. Oh,
I'll
shit,
get in
I
with
have
that.
to figure that out too. How do I house 40
my God.
people?
Cool. Contend with challenges above your current station.
Yeah, always. We are a mere rank 1, and we keep not dealing with mere rank 1s, I believe that's the case.
Yeah, you've got a couple of them in the mix. Yep. Bolster your crew's reputation. Ambitious, honorable team players, or develop a new one.
I don't think we worked with a lot of other agencies, technically the Salamanders, but I think that's only technically.
Yeah.
Were we honorable? Because I feel I will make the case that we get 1 XP for honorable for brokering through the deal with the Dimmer sisters.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. I can deal with that.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
All right.
Cool. The goals, express the goals, drives, inner conflict, or essential nature of your crew.
Oh yeah.
You don't get 2 XP for that. Something wrong happened this session.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely do. And the way that you also, that I really like, is that you were like, are we doing the right thing? Like, you're always kind of thinking about that. And I appreciate that, because it would be really easy to wrap up these cases probably much faster if you just were willing to just willing to be terrible. So yes, I've got your XP marked. You're 2 away from having a new crew advancement.
Awesome. Cool. I think that's it. Let me do my traditional in chat. Start with duty, heat, entanglements, and downtimes.
There's also a clock that you all left. Identify unseen safe houses. That's a 4 of 8 that you didn't mess with again. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Oh, just letting you know. As if you didn't have enough on your mind.
I think that's partially when we thought that we were going to have to go toe-to-toe with the unseen. I think that potentially we'll still have to have a conversation with them, but it doesn't... Look, I had to spend actions to heal and also to help Maya. We just ran out of time. It's about downtime economy. Sometimes you can't get all the cookies. Unless you have coin, which we don't.
But we know someone who does.
Let's get coin back in. Yeah, you can pay for all the extra downtimes. Fix all those clocks. All right. Cool. So I think we're Sorry, chat was commenting. They were like, "Oh yeah, extra vicing." I was like, "No, it's for the resist." And they're like, "Yeah, you have 3 traumas." I'm like, "I know." So, awesome. Cool. So I think that's it for another episodes of Bluecoats. I believe we're gonna be back here in 2 weeks. Is that correct?
I believe
I
so.
think so.
Okay, cool. So in 2 weeks, we're gonna ignore the screen here where it says Unity case. We're gonna continue the Rorik case. And I'm pretty hype about that. Also, in a couple of weeks, I'm gonna get to see at least Lauren in person. Because I believe both of us are going to Big Bad Con, which is
Nice.
Sean's home con, and it is also pretty awesome. I think that's it for my outros. I'm Strash, he, him. I'm one of the regular streamers here. He can. Right now, I'm just doing this, but hopefully after Big Bad Con, Sean and I will cook up another show that we're gonna fiddle around with. So we'll see. Right now, things are chaos for him because he organizes that, and I've been really busy working on putting out a game right before Big Bad Con, which is not the wisest decision. So that's that. Lauren, take it away.
Yes, I'm Lauren Shide. I'm at the Stray Kiwi on Twitter, and my website is thestraykiwi.com if you would like to learn more about myself. Likewise, I'm just gearing up for Big Bad Con and getting work done. Editing a bunch of stuff. That's hence my editor hair, is what I've been calling it recently. And oh god, yeah, that's my life right now. How about you, Judd?
I'm looking at the calendar. Sorry, I'm Judd, he, him. So I might be at New York City Comic Con for the week where we would next play. So we might want to talk about, and then the week after that is Big Bad, which would put us, I think, 4 weeks out. So let's talk about how we want to deal with that. We'll have to figure out the scheduling because that's not good. And that's all. I'm just worried about when we're going to play again.
All right, watch our Twitters at Strash A, at the Stray Kiwi, and at Jet of Cryos, and we will announce when the next game is, and hopefully we will see you there. So.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Forward to it.
Good night, all.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good